Welcome to the Buttercut Podcast, part of the MWBK Creative Podcast Network. My name's Bradley Key. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, co-golfer, Pete, the Irish guy. What's up, Pete?
What's up, man? Not
long time no talk.
I don't feel like a badass as well. In terms of my golf game. I lost. I played in the Central Texas Amateur a couple of weeks ago.
I remember.
And
you had one good day, didn't you?
Yeah, I shot 79, 71. So 79 is garbage.
Okay.
But shot 71 second round, so it was good to get under par. But I then lost fucking $62, which may as well be $600 because it nothing feels good about losing money to a friend of yours that you know, Zach Coppinger.
Oh,
yeah, lost $62 to him.
Is his golf game any good?
Yeah, he's pretty good. We were playing like Wolf, and I end up being down the most.
Yeah.
So last 3 holes, you get to go crybaby and
try to make your
the
way
last
back.
Yeah, and the last few holes didn't do well for me.
Did you try to push it?
Yeah, well, the last hole basically, it was myself and my dad was playing, and Coppinger and a buddy, and the last hole, par 3, I picked me and my old man against the 2 boys, and we had a putt. It was my old man had a putt from 8 feet to win us $60. It would have got me back to even. He fucking missed the cunt.
Oh boy.
So yeah,
was this at Lost Creek?
Yeah, Lost Creek. Yeah,
that's his home course too.
Yeah,
You can't
Lost
be playing
Creek Country
cop
Club.
at Lost Creek.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into this. So we've got the PGA Championship at Harding Park this week, which is in San Francisco. First of all, do you know anything about this course? Have you played out there? Have you been in the area? Have you seen it?
Never seen it. The only thing I know about the course is having watched the World Golf Championship match play back in the day.
Yeah.
At Harding Park. It looks awesome on TV, old school golf course in San Francisco.
It's supposed to have beautiful backdrops, especially on the back. I believe.
It's fucking basically it's more or less downtown. It's San Fran. It's
right.
so close to the city.
Which it's a gorgeous city. If the audience, if you have not been to that city, it is really a good place to visit. It is hilly as hell though. You better be either in shape or get you a scooter.
Yeah, but I think it's a fucking great venue. I mean, there's lots of positive things about it. The only one negative really for the players is probably the weather.
Yes, and so that's one of the key factors here. It's cold there apparently.
Yeah,
see what the temperature
It's going to be freezing. I mean, today on the fucking range, you saw Louis Oosthuizen had a fucking wool hat on. This is at 11:30 and it was a live shot from the range, so it's 9:30 San Fran time.
It's 63 there right now.
Right, so I went on immediately to check what tempo was. It was 56. It's not 36. He's wearing a wool hat. I was like, that's a little much.
That's being dramatic.
Although, anyone, if you're living in Texas, you do know though when, like, if you've been playing in 100 degrees and you're living in Florida or something, 60 feels fucking freezing outside, especially if there's any wind off the ocean.
Which that's another assumption you can go ahead and make. It is going to be windy out there. I mean, that's part of the deal when you're on the coast. So we've got a high of 67, low of 54 tomorrow for the first round, Thursday's round. The course is playing a little bit longer because of that cold weather. Yep. I think they're making too much of this, man. 62 is just lovely.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that they're saying that it's like it's difficult or because it's bad weather. I think it's more they're saying it has an impact on how the golf course plays. Mm-hmm. So it makes the golf course more difficult.
It says here that it'll play very long because of cold temperatures and dense San Francisco air. Right.
So like I caught a glimpse of Tiger's interview, and he said how a couple of things actually from Tiger's interview that I want to talk about. Tiger said how guys were laughing at their TrackMan numbers last week in, where were they? Memphis at the WGC, fucking 100 degrees, whatever, real hot, and they're all hitting at absolutely fucking miles, bombing it.
Right.
And Tiger goes that. They got here Monday and they had their TrackMan out on the range and they were all like laughing, like carrying it
dramatically different.
Yeah, carrying it to fucking 65, like 270 with the driver. So there's a dramatic distance. Gary Woodland today in his interview said they asked him about the length, and what's funny, if you look at the golf course, like just on paper,
right,
it doesn't look like it's crazy long.
Par 70, 7,200 yards.
Right. So that's long, right? 72. Yeah. When it's a par 70 at 72, that's pretty long. However, that's not crazy. There's golf courses that are 7,800 yards. That we've seen 7,600 yards in the U.S. Open. We've seen very long courses, but Woodland said Woodland hits it fucking miles.
Right.
And Woodland said he hit 5-iron in like everywhere. He felt like on the par 4. He said he hit 5-iron more than any other club. When he's hitting 5-irons, when he's hitting driver 5-iron,
right,
and he's hitting it regularly, that's a big golf course.
So 7 of the 12 par 4s are 463 yards or longer.
Yeah, and in fucking cold weather, and you get into a breeze on the thing, that's just going to play. And when there's a premium hitting fairways, that's going to play very
because the rough is long.
Well,
there's a big premium on hitting fairways, actually.
So we'll get to the rough. We'll get to the rough here in a sec. One of those other things, right, that I thought was really fucking cool about Tiger's interview. So the interview, most people, when they asked him a question, had 2 questions.
Okay.
And they were 2-part questions. And they would say, so this is a 2-part question.
Was Tiger in good spirits?
Yeah, he was in great. He was in good form.
He wasn't Bill Belichick in him.
He was in great form until this guy asked this particular question.
Okay.
And most people would say 2-part question. They'd ask the first part and they'd ask the second part. Tiger would answer the first part, and most of the time he'd say, "What was the second part? Remind me again." Right. And they'd go over it, or he would just straight answer it because he'd remind it. So this guy goes, "Tiger, 2-part question. Firstly, I heard you're writing a book at the moment. I want to know how that process is going. You're writing it with so and so author, and then second part is." Did watching Michael Jordan's Last Dance have any influence on you writing this book or whatever?
That seems innocent enough.
Right. Well, if anyone knows anything about Tiger and his relationship with Jordan, Tiger fucking instantly, his face went from like, he had this very nice, relaxed grin the whole time, answering questions. He was awesome, to stone cold, fucking no smile, looked straight at the guy and said, yeah, the process has been real fun. Getting to reminisce with the author or whatever about old tournaments and talk about old tournaments.
Waffle houses.
And then he just went, and that was it. And he just stared at the guy and didn't say one more word. Didn't mention MJ, didn't mention Last Dance, didn't mention anything. Just said, yeah, it's been great fun. The process has been cool. Stared at him. There was silence. And then he just looked away and they moved to the next question.
What's the backstory of their dislike of each
MJ other? and Tiger used to be fucking great mates. And him,
so it's like a gambling vendetta or something?
No, I don't think it's not tied to like gambling directly, but there's something in that. So
they're both like serial killers in terms of competitive nature.
Absolutely.
So like if you're competing versus each other, there's likely to be some friction.
Yeah, so Barkley tells a funny story of Tiger and Jordan playing. He was playing golf with the two of them, and they're playing Wolf Hammer. And then the third, like they're on the third fucking hole. So they're not on 16, but they're on the third hole. And Jordan had a putt for 300K on the third. And he's like, that's how aggressive like the games will get. They were playing 100K a hole, and he hammered like a double hammer, and all of a sudden there's 300K on a fucking hole, and it's the third. You're like, what the? So
you can get petty quick with those hammers.
Yeah. So basically, I think the whole Tiger situation is that Tiger and MJ kind of. I don't want to say it's MJ's fault because it's not, but MJ kind of opened up Tiger to a different lifestyle. So this gambling, Vegas, drinking kind of lifestyle. Now, right, he kind of got Tiger into a lifestyle, and it's all of that time. And then obviously we all know what happened to Tiger Woods and his fucking infidelities and his sex fucking addiction, and everything went haywire. And Tiger then, remember when he was coming back out of it, he talked about how he cut a load of people out of his life, and he was going back to his like true like close friends, the childhood best mate that he travels everywhere with, his like manager dude, and like Steinberg, his agent, who's a fucking fag. But anyway, all these other like he was getting really down to his close knit friends, and like Charles Barkley and Jordan were the ones that were cut out of his life, and. I think it's because Tiger my guess is that Tiger associates those dark days of his life and those fucking.
Jordan was the gateway?
Kind of, yeah. That's what I think. I think Tiger associates Jordan with that, and he doesn't want anything to do with it, and he wants to forget that never happened.
It's a nice theory.
Yeah, I think there's something to it. But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was interesting from Tiger's interview. Really, I watched a bunch of the interviews. I watched Brooks's interview. I watched.
How do you feel about Brooks' chances?
I mean, he went straight to my number one favorite.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, immediately. And it was funny because 7 days ago, I had a chat with a mate who likes to gamble on golf, and we were talking about Koepka. It was actually at Memorial, the last event that Tiger played, and Brooks was just hitting it so fucking bad, like hitting it left and right, two-way misses. So on every tee, it looked like he had no idea where the ball was going to go, because one tee he'd hit a big high pull hook.
And what week was this?
Memorial. So the last a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But every event before that, it looked the same thing. He miscut.
Yeah.
And
his knee was bugging him.
Yeah, and he'd hit a big high hook. And then the very next hole, he'd block one 30 yards right. And he was kind of there, like, he looked so lost. And then all of a sudden, just like he's done the last fucking 4 years, just like Tiger is the best in the world to ever do it, out of nowhere, I find a little bit of form here the week fucking before the major.
I was looking at the stats, and he didn't have bad lost strokes gained off the tee. It was really putting. Putting, like, has been murdering him.
Yeah.
And so in last week, still striking the ball well, striking it actually much better, and then putted decently.
Yeah, so if you listen to him, he was talking about how he wasn't playing well at all, and how he was trying to find some, and as much as like he kind of annoys me, because he annoys me in a way just because of the way he said I don't practice, and I don't really. He has this impression he doesn't give a shit. Yeah, a little bit. But I think it's the best attitude ever for the golf course. His attitude is amazing for the golf course. It's why in majors he does so well, because he's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck.
Well, it's good unless you don't have the God-given ability, because then you're not practicing and you suck.
Yeah, no, you're fucking right.
So if it's just easy for you, then that works.
If you're just not any good, then you should practice. But yeah, no, you're right. But his attitude is very, his swing thought, what he was talking about, when he's struggling, what are you thinking of? He goes, well, it's funny because when you're playing well, it's like you're blank inside. There's nothing you're thinking of.
Right.
You're not thinking about any thought at all. You just stand up, you see, and you do, right? You don't think, I got to get it to here in my backswing. I got to keep my shoulder on it. There's nothing like that.
There's never, you're standing over the ball and you're like, this could get shanked off
right.
Like,
or you're never standing over the ball going, okay, one piece takeaway. Like, there's nothing of that. However, when you're playing shit,
then
every video he was like, we start analyzing and we start, look at the top, and maybe I'm overswinging. Is my alignment right? And at the end of the day, you just go, well, we're thinking about 100 things here. Let's just clear your mind and not think about anything when you're on the course. So, but I love him.
Well, so he's particularly relevant this week because he's going for a three-peat. So over the last 12 major starts, Brooks has 4 wins, 2 runner-ups, 3 other top 6 finishes, and 0 missed cuts. Yeah. So he's had crazy performance, which everybody here knows. He's a major guy.
Yeah, he'll love this golf course because it's an old school, like, it'll be difficult for everybody. And he just found a little bit of form. He'll probably like the greens. Yeah, it just feels like if I had $100 and I could only bet on one person, I'd put it on Koepka to win.
So driving distance is obviously, there's always going to be a premium on that, but the next largest premium is going to be on those mid-iron shots from 150 to 200 yards out, which is like Gary Woodland was saying. He's hitting a 5-iron in every time. So you're looking for people who are precise with those mid-irons. So just last note on Brooks. So if he was to three-peat, he'd be the first player to win 3 majors consecutive since Peter Thompson, the Open, 1954 to 56. But yeah, so there's big stakes on this, and it's historic.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I think you're right. What's weird about the majors is people always talk about putting, and yes, you have to putt well, right? And you have to putt well from inside 10 feet is, the zone, right? You got to make those ones for par. But in US Opens, on courses that are really difficult, like, you have to kind of do most things well. You got to hit greens. The guys that are hitting the highest with the greens in regulation, they're the guys that are winning because it's hard to get up and down. Not like any other week. Greens in regulation maybe isn't a huge stat. In majors, it's a massive stat because the greens are always really faster.
And they're
really
always
fast.
Complex too. Like, it's the location of where you put it on the green, all sorts of things like that, right?
No, I agree with you. The other big thing to take away from the interviews was there seemed to be a big consensus on the long hitters, and the guys who hit it far are going to have a massive advantage this week.
Sure.
And unlike other weeks, and what was weird, I thought the opposite going into this tournament because I was like, it's 7,200. I was thinking accuracy was going to be more important, but they've all played it now a number of days. And the only thing everyone is saying is how long the fucking golf course is. It's playing so long because of the weather. It's cold, because of the thick air. The ball's going nowhere. And the guys, and Finau was like, yeah, this week, unlike last week, he said, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be hitting driver everywhere, and I'm going to be hitting it real hard. Like, I'm going for the 200 mile per hour ball
Bryson
speed.
was talking about how he's getting out of the driver
it's like,
as often as possible.
Right, and it's because I'm going to get it as close to this green as I can, so I'm hitting a little club in.
Here's one last interesting thing for Koepka. So if he was to win this week, that'd be 5 career major titles, and that would lift him past Rory McIlroy for the most of any active player under the age of 44.
Or
so that's kind of
Phil
interesting.
is the only other one.
Well, he's
player.
over, though.
Right. That's what I mean, yeah.
And Tiger, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like Brooks a lot this week.
Yeah, I still think like the guys who hit those mid-range irons accurately are going to be power players in this. I don't know. That seems to be something that sticks in my mind because they all fucking bomb it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like as in all the top guys. So JT, DJ, Brooks, Rory, Finau, Woodland, Tiger, like those. Who else? Bryson. Yeah. They're like the 8 best players in the world right now. John Rahm. They're like the 8 or 9 best players, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And all of those guys hit it further than everybody else.
Right.
So, yeah, I think out of those guys, the winner is probably going to be, who hits the most greens. And out of those guys, you know what? If Tiger's healthy, that's Tiger Woods. He's the most accurate out of those guys by far.
Watch out. They got Xander Schauffele. Here's another interesting candidate for a dark horse winner. He's 7th in the field off the tee and 21st on approach.
So what do you think about Tiger this week?
I like Tiger. I'm taking Tiger.
Are you?
I'm riding with him.
Yeah.
So you know what gave me the most confidence, and this may be bad logic, but so be it. I'm using bad logic. The match or whatever. Watching him play out there and the command he had, he looked like he was the superior player by so far and away, and he looked in control, and he was hitting his drives off like with accuracy. He's hitting his irons with accuracy. He was having a good time. That's not a great indicator considering it was like 2-3 months ago, but like I've had confidence in him since then, and I don't think he's really been trying very hard or even interested in trying very hard. I think he's just been like slowly building up to this.
Played Muirfield, obviously, and I think some great signs at Muirfield. He had
a bad weekend, if I remember, but
he had he had a poor round 2 and round 3. He had a poor round 2.
He made the cut,
so he had a good round 1. He was in the mix. He shot like 1 under. He shot 4 over in round 2, and he made the cut on the number.
Okay.
And then of the weekend, it was major championship golf. It was one of the hardest golf courses they'll play all year, and he played decent. He got it back up to around even or whatever score he finished on. But
you know who's interesting amongst the kind of top tier odds guys? They've got Jason Day up there, who has struggled mightily for long.
Jason Day, I'd put money on Jason Day withdrawing.
Oh,
before
he's played well the last couple weeks.
His
last
back,
2-3 weeks.
His back is fucked.
You think it's still fucked?
I was watching him on the putting green today. He was like holding onto his back the whole time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I put money on Day to MC.
What do you think about Morikawa?
Well, my last thought on Tiger.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I think Tiger. I agree with you in that I like him this week. I like him any week. It's about just how fucking accurate it is.
Especially in majors.
There's 2 things of note this week. The one thing everyone's talking about is the weather. How's it going to affect him? How's it going to affect his back, right? Because it's colder. He's going to be stiffer. The one thing I will say is that Fred Couples, if you've ever seen the Couples David Ferretti piece, Couples obviously is the same thing as Tiger. Fucked back and he got fusion or whatever. Couples said that he used to love when it was cold because he said...
swelling?
No, because he said no matter what, his back was stiff, whether it was hot or cold.
But now everybody's stiff.
And now everybody's stiff. Because it's cold, everybody fucking hates it, and everybody's stiff. And he said, so I used to love when it was cold, because I'd just be stiff anyway. And to me, it didn't feel a whole lot different.
Just even the
But
playing
for
field.
everyone else, they felt way different. So, yeah. So that's one thing I think you never know could help Tiger. The second thing...
He's 30-1 odds.
Yeah. I mean... If there ever is incredible value on Tiger, that's it.
The favorites are 10.
Put 100 on Tiger. Put 100 on
Thomas.
Tiger to win. Fucking $3,000 back. That'd be amazing. So the last thing on Tiger is that he's a new putter in the bag.
Is that right? Is it still a Cameron?
Yes. It'll look the same to everybody else. So same same looking head.
Yeah.
You know, same
Like the classic
exactly
mallet look.
the same Newport 2 style that he's always had, and it'll probably look from the behind angle. It'll probably have the red dot and probably look the same. They inserted weights, so like the new ones.
Yeah.
On the sole of it, they have weights in the sole. So
Technology helps.
Yeah, so he's been putting with that because the greens will be a little slower. And he thinks the greens will be slower to what he's used to, and he just needs a little bit more weight in the putter head.
Firm confidence.
For when it's slow, he can just hit them a little harder. So it can come off a little faster. So yeah, I like Tiger this week. He's not my pick to win, but I like Tiger.
So looking at the young guns, of the rookies or 2 years in, like that class of Morikawa, Wolf, those cats,
Victor Hovland. Yeah.
Hovland. So we've got the only one in the tier 1 odds is going to be your boy Morikawa at 30 to 1, and then Wolf and I believe, Hovland as well, 40 to 1. Wolf is 100 to 1. So kind of interesting.
Great odds on Wolf at 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Just because
he crunches the ball. So like, if distance is important.
Miles.
He outdrives Dustin Johnson by a wide margin after seeing that driver relief thing that they did earlier this year.
He hits it miles, and he's a little cocky fucker. So like the bigger the event, I feel like the better he's going to play, right? So I think he's going to be one of those
peacock factor.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those lads that's a gamer and shows up at the majors. Right?
Interesting, because we have never seen him on the major stage. So it's interesting to see how these guys.
I think he's going to be awesome. Morikawa is fantastic. He's going back to the West Coast where he went to school and where he's from, and so I think he'll do great.
So let's.
I think one thing real quick is the no fans is just it's going to be fucking nuts. I think it could affect Tiger more than he has talked about or he's led up on.
Yeah, there were some pieces
out there. It's a huge
this
disadvantage for
about
Tiger Woods.
How rowdy it could get at that course too, and how people are really close to the fairways and stuff. Like and also the stands. Like apparently there's stands that like line the fairways, not necessarily line them, but reduce the out of bounds opportunities, possibilities. So I mean, that's kind of interesting that there are not those blockades or whatever that keep balls in play.
Yep, I think it's an unbelievable disadvantage from the norm for Tiger. Tiger in a major
because he feeds off the energy.
Well, because the people in his group, it's a shot to 2 shot disadvantage. Because 1, you're not used to it like Tiger is. 2, it's just crazy noise and people moving and everything going crazy. And then on the weekend, it's even more on the weekend if Tiger's in the hunt. Other guy, it's just a nightmare to play with him, and because the pros will talk about that. It's when you get used to it, like Woodland talked about at Bellarive.
Throws off your cadence.
He's like, there's just he'd never experienced it before, and he's like, I was stunned and I played shit, and he shot 81 or something. He's like, I couldn't handle it playing with Tiger in the last group. It was just mental. So, I think that'll be a huge disadvantage, and we won't know until the week is completed, because Tiger talked about he gets in a zone and it doesn't really affect him, and he's able to, because he's so competitive, like MJ, right? If MJ's playing on the practice court, he's still MJ and he's still going to crush everybody, right?
He still wants to hurt you,
right? Regardless if there's fans there or not, that doesn't matter to him. He's going to fucking crush you. I think Tiger will think it's the same for him, and he'll want to do that, but there's such an effect in golf because it's just a singular sport. And the crowd has such an impact and plays a massive impact in majors with nerves and guys that aren't used to it choking and stuff. I think it'll be a big disadvantage for Tiger.
It's an interesting take, and I guess the same would be for Brooks and like those types of guys who are big game players.
Brooks. I'm trying to think who the other Phil. If he's in the hunt, it'll be a disadvantage for him. Whereas I don't know, Rory kind of as
Phil
well.
Could compete this week?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I love Phil this week. Going back to the West Coast, yeah.
Okay, so this is my next question
West Coast
for you.
guy. He hits it miles, yeah.
Is there any merit to the idea that people from California will play better
100%.
on a California course?
So
you like the Cali Bros in this one?
That's fact, yeah.
So
just is.
Phil's, Tigers.
He's so many wins out there.
Xander Schauffele's.
It's just, it's like anything. When you go home,
familiarity.
It's the familiarity. It's the comfort feeling. Gary Woodland won or lost in the final here in the WGC at Harding Park, and so he loves the place. And he said he'd been playing kind of shitty, and he said he got here on Sunday night or Monday, and he said
had good feels
instantly. he said, I stayed longer on the range just because I was like, God, I just love this place. And the smell of the air and just the feeling of the grass. And he said,
it's really beautiful.
He said,
too.
And he was like, my ball striking. He goes, I stayed longer on the range because I was striking it so well, just because the turf felt great.
So
to me.
that's something else to take into consideration. He was crushing the ball and still having 200 yards into the hole. So if he's striking it well and still having that, that's something to be considered. Yeah. So you want to talk about favorites who you like in this tournament?
Yeah.
I take it Woodland is on your list, on your short list?
Yeah, I think my number one favorite is Brooks Koepka.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's not my pick to win.
Okay.
Because I think the three-peat will probably... It's just, I mean, to three-peat in a major, that's just fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That seems crazy to me.
Okay.
So here's what I do.
He's the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, I think here's what I do think, though. Sunday, when Brooks Koepka gets to... when the last group gets to the 10th tee on Sunday, Koepka will be within one or two shots of the lead.
Okay.
That's what I think was
whether
a
or not
no-brainer.
He's in the last group, he will be within it.
When you're looking at the leaderboard, Koepka will be there within one or two.
Okay.
Should we do our pick to win?
Yeah, let's start with pick to win.
Let's do pick to win. Let's do an underdog, and then let's do someone good to play shit.
Miscut.
Yeah, miscut. My pick to win is Bryson DeChambeau.
Okay.
Yeah. He's playing.
Think he's going to be cranking.
Yeah, he's playing better than anyone else.
He's crushing the golf ball.
He's hitting it so far. He's playing better than anybody else. John Rahm is obviously playing well. JT's playing well now. Bryson is playing better than anyone else since this whole comeback, right? The most under par.
Bryson kind of looks like your countryman, fat bastard. He really does with all that weight.
He absolutely does.
With that picture of him looking inside of his
ginger hair, ginger hair and a kilt on him. I mean, I think they're the same person, doppelganger. I think though, I think it's set up for him to win this week. Okay. I think he's going to hit it so much further than everybody. He's going to be having short clubs in. He's a great putter. He's accurate.
He's a great putter.
He's a great putter. He's built.
He looks so awkward though.
He does.
God.
He's built for majors. Like I've always thought Bryson's going to win a Masters before he got crazy long. Like as an amateur, he contended there. He's just like his clubs are named after. His clubs are all named after all the holes.
He's more of a scientific guy too, like not in terms of his brain, but like in terms of his approach to the game. Like it's not about highs and lows. It's not about crowds. It's about specific individual scenarios that he plays out 100 different ways.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that kind of fits to his strengths in this case because there's no crowd.
I think it's made for him to win, and I think he's going to win. I think he's playing better than everyone. So he's my pick to win. Who's your pick?
I think I like Rahm. I like Rahm because he's crushing it because he's been playing good. But beyond that,
likes the West Coast as well.
Likes the West Coast.
He's won a Tory.
I kind of think he's due for one too. Like I think he needs to win a major soon, like in the next couple of years, or there's going to be some serious pressure coming down on him. Yeah. And I don't think he's thinking about that, but I think that in the back of your mind, that's always something. And I think sometimes that strengthens your case to play better.
Yeah.
I also think the crowd not being there may be better for his flare-ups, like his anger issues, because like he's not embarrassed, so he doesn't get so bent out of shape when he fucks something up because he gets really bent out of shape.
I agree. The flare-ups, I agree with you. Them not being there, he's not. Yeah, everyone's not going ooh or like making noises when he fucking goes psycho like he is known to do. Him and Jordan Spieth, two biggest maniacs on the golf course. I think
those two are the same odds, 16-1, Rahm and DeChambeau. So we're on par there. Okay, so who's your what's the next one? Mid tier or do you want to go miscut?
No, let's go with our mid tier, like our next on the list, like someone who isn't one of the favorites, but
so I got a long shot I want to go with.
Okay, yeah, I like the long shot, and you could see a long shot win here. No fans, we don't know what it's going to be like. My next one, it's not a real long shot.
Okay,
it's not a long shot because of the name, but it's a long shot because maybe the form he's been in, but I think. It's just it's the type of thing he'd do and come back and win, and he'll shut everybody up. It's Spieth. I'm going to pick Spieth.
Oh man, there's so much hype behind him this week.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't think it's coordinated. Like all these different people I talk to.
Slam.
Yeah, all these people I talk to are like, man, I like Spieth.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
I kind of like.
It's like an impulse buy.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, people just feel good about him right now.
I know. I think he started to show a little bit of form. Again, there's no fans and all that. I think. If he can get off to a decent start and if he can be thereabouts, he's been thereabouts and he's played shitty on a Saturday or Sunday. he's bound to turn this around, and he's bound to fucking get there, and because he's just too good not to.
He's 60-1 odds.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think mentally, he is stronger, and he can will the ball in the hole, and
he certainly can
he's
score.
so fucking strong mentally, even though he's a maniac.
He's a mental midget when it comes to like talking to the ball and like being
his anxiety
finicky, but he then overcomes it.
Yes,
he just looks like he's not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then down the stretch, if it's 1-on-1, him and another guy in the lead, Spieth is just going to beat you.
Yeah,
and that's the way it is. So I'm going to pick Spieth as my guy
because he's been there.
Yeah.
So I got a guy that's in that same category, or the same like area of odds, the same tier. So I like Abraham Answer.
I've
loved that guy since the Ryder Cup.
Huge long shot. I like it though.
He's 50-1. He's got better odds than Spieth.
Yeah, well,
he's been really good lately.
That's amazing.
He's a good player.
No, he is great putter.
And after the Ryder Cup, I just had a lot of
President's Cup.
Was it the President's Cup? Yeah, he's not a Ryder Cup.
Yeah, he's from like Mexico.
Yeah, he's a little south of
the
England. Anyways, he's a 50-1 odds guy. The guy who I'm thinking of for like the really long shot, and I don't really think he could win, but I think he could make a cut and make a little noise. Mackenzie Hughes, I don't know. I've kind of liked him lately.
Hughes,
he's soft.
That's an MC coming.
You think so?
All day.
Well, keep an eye on him.
Let's say
let's
before we do our MC, our big name MC, let's do a honorable mention for someone who's going to play well, might not necessarily win. My honorable mention is Shane Lowry.
Ooh.
Shane has been playing well. Great.
He ripped it in the last tournament.
Yeah, great week last week. He's coming into some form. Beautiful timing. And I have a feeling he's going to be thereabouts this week, and wouldn't be surprised to see him on the leaderboard there.
He's got good odds, 40-1.
Yeah.
So they think he's going to perform in that same area. I think Sergio Garcia is another kind of interesting pick because he melted down a couple years ago. Like I think it was when he tried to repeat at the Masters, and he just chunked like 15 balls in the water, or whatever. He melted down that time, and he hasn't really climbed back since then. He's been playing good lately, man.
Yeah, with him, it's always he's one of the best ball strikers who's ever lived.
Yeah.
It's all about putting. It's can he get it together on the greens? Can he put well? And then sometimes in the majors, you don't like in the US Open.
Like you said, if you can hit
US
greens,
Open,
that's a difference.
Right. You don't really need to put great. Hit greens and you'll be fine. Big name to MC. This is an easy one for me. It's Jason Day.
I figured you was going to go right back to it.
Jason Day.
I want to pick Dustin Johnson because he's just been so shitty lately. But I got a feeling he's been sandbagging everybody. He's going to come out and just tear the ball apart.
Okay.
I think Tommy Fleetwood's got a good chance at miscut. He's been playing like dog shit lately. He's missed a couple cuts.
Yeah.
Other than that, like the other guys that I think that could be big names that could feasibly have rough weeks, Paul Casey has been kind of shoddy. And then Adam Scott just hasn't been on the course lately. I hadn't seen him play any.
Well, he's been in Australia because of the quarantine restrictions.
Yeah.
So he was gonna have to quarantine for 14 days or not be allowed back into Australia if he came over and played. So he was like, "Fuck that! I'm just gonna stay here.
I'm just gonna hang out my pleated pants and get down under
in my giant large pants when I'm super hot." That's weird. And then come over and play when it mattered, kind of for the majors. So
I like it.
That's all we got.
That's it, and that's all, baby. That was a good episode, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, great chat.
Yeah. Anything else you got to say?
That's it. No, looking forward to watching.
Shouts. We got Titan High coming out tonight as well on Backdoor Cover Podcast, so keep an eye out for that if you want to hear some baseball talk. As always, thank you very much for listening. We'll be back sooner than later.